Well, good morning. It's early for me anyway. I don't know what time you're watching this, but welcome to Gibson Garage Speed Shop YouTube channel. We are on part 2, putting stuff together for the Suburban steering column. All the parts should show up this morning. So I have all the parts to get started in the engine compartment. I got the hose, the lower bearing, and something else. Oh yeah, that new rag joint. So we can get that together and get the power steering pump primed, maybe, or filled up at least. Probably gonna use, I think I need to flush it because I accidentally mixed regular power steering fluid with transmission fluid. I had switched to transmission fluid and forgot, and added regular power steering fluid later. We gotta get rid of that stuff and just go right back to transmission fluid and try to remember in the future. Okay, so I think I want to start here on this guy. This bearing is shot. Wiggle it up and down and left and right. So we just got to remove this clip, a little metal dust shield, and then we can pick the bearing out off of the shaft. And installation is just as simple as reversed. Slide a new one on. Actually, it's totally different. I'll show you when I get it out. I'll get a screwdriver under here. That comes off. Well, looks like we do have the original nylon style. So this isn't a bearing at all. Hold on, let me get it out before I start talking out my neck. So yeah, it's not a bearing at all. It's a nylon bushing, and it got tight again around the dirty spot, but plenty of wobble. So this will be replaced with, this is from Crown. No, it's not sponsored, but seem to be the most popular. So there's your spring and your dust shield. But this nylon piece will be replaced with an actual bearing pressed inside of a cup. So this has got to get pressed into this, just like that. And, this is just like that one on the video I watched. They got a bad one. That sucks. Well, luckily I got a week to film this, if not longer. I'd like to get this out next week, but we'll move on. We'll have to reorder that part. We'll see what happens with the new one. Hopefully it's not just as busted. So we'll move on to the pressure hose and flushing the system. And then hopefully the bearings for the front column, the top of the column, will be here by then. So this is going to go in this direction, right behind the pump there. And they changed up the size. This is no longer an 18 down here at the gear end. It's, I don't know what it is. I guess it's 19. But this is still 16. Make sure that your old hose came, the O-rings came with it. If not, you'll have to fish those out of the back or wherever, whichever end it was left in. Oh, I got it. Yeah. Oh, dang. Alright, here's my crazy idea. I filled up the funnel to the return line, and I've got the other end of the return line going into a bucket here. So we're gonna suck this down until it's empty, hopefully without running it dry. Oh, I need a battery pick-me-up. Well, that's not really working at idle cranking speed, so we're gonna have to fire it up and then crank it right back off. See what happens. I definitely sucked it down. Let's do that again. It definitely went down. Are you getting stuff out of here? We're definitely getting stuff out of there. Let's fill it back up again. Okay, that ran it dry. My thing, I couldn't get it turned off in time. My key slipped out. I think we'll call that good. We'll fill it up. All right, let's start it up and refill it. A little frothy in there, but we're not low. It just needs to work out some air bubbles. Might need a new lid. So that was leaking out the lid. Alright, so I'm making a last minute critical decision here. This U-joint that is connected to the steering column at the top has play going this way. You know what I mean? And with the rag joint, I wasn't super stoked about having one of these to begin with. This was just because I was trying to go the cheapest route possible and just get it on the road. But the further I dig into this, the more I'm realizing the whole thing needs to be replaced. So there is Borgenson brand kits you can get for like 250 bucks. It comes with the whole collapsible shaft and 2 solid U-joints on the end. But I decided to do a little shopping myself and see what was available, try to get it a little cheaper. And just on Summit Racing, you can actually use the upper part of your shaft, right? So I can take this off of here, cut it off, do whatever, and use this 3/4 inch double D. Order up a 1 inch double D right here. It's Borgenson brand, it's the cheapest one. I sorted by price, right? You get like 36 inches of 1 inch double D that you can use to slide over this to replace this shaft here that has the rag joint pressed onto it. This end isn't like a true double D. I thought about maybe hammering this off or something, but it's not really a true double D. It's kind of just squished and then this piece is pressed over it. Right, this side is machined a double D, 1 inch double D on the outside. It's 3/4 inch double D on the inside. So you can get this piece here to replace that. Use your upper half, your 3/4 inch double D, and that'll slide inside of this one. You know, you cut this down to like 11 inches or whatever. Then the U-joints, the upper one is, you got the Layers brand, the cheapest one available is Layers part number 753 with a 1 inch double D on one end and a 3/4 inch double D on the other end, and that'll replace this U-joint. Then you got the larger 1 inch double D shaft that slides over this. So the second coupler you need for the bottom, this was the cheapest one in stock. There was a Classic Performance parts that was like 63 bucks, but it wouldn't get here till the end of May. But this one is 79. It is Borgenson brand, and I do have Borgenson on my manual steering in there, and they are still solid as a rock. These are proven parts. That is a 1 inch double D to connect to the shaft and a 3/4 inch 30 spline to connect to the gearbox. And all three of those parts together is, you know, $156 before tax instead of $250 for an all Borgenson setup, which you can also buy that same exact setup from AutoZone. You can buy that from here by typing in, you know, your 94 Chevy truck. It'll pop up, same price as AutoZone, so it doesn't really matter there where you want to get it if you just want to get the whole Borgenson setup for $100 more than doing it my way. And I actually get to save a few more bucks than that because I don't need to purchase an extra 1 inch double D shaft. I have some left over from when I did the pickup. So this will slide right into this, and my U-joints will slide on here. My upper U-joint will slide on there. And then it'll be nice and solid for way cheaper than the 250 bucks for that whole replacement. I got lucky here. I guess there's some Jeep steering shafts too, maybe. I don't know that. I haven't looked up any videos, but try that option too if you want to hunt around looking for one with low miles. Oh fuck, it's in there. Woo! That was burning a hole in my ankle. Which we'll find out if it's still burning me in a minute. Let's see what's in here. Oh, I see. So, does that punch out? Or do I gotta cut it off? Alright, well, the second bearing came in for the lower column, and it too was also no bueno. So I sent it back, ordering another one from in town. We'll see what happens. In the meantime, the upper column bearings came with these pieces here. Most importantly, the two bearings, also from Crown. So since this bearing needs to get pressed in with the black lip up, it makes it hard for a socket to do the job without damaging that. So I'm going to use the old race to stack on top of it. Problem solved. And then the perfect socket. In my case, it's a 30mm Duralast brand, but you know, they can all be different thicknesses, so good luck there. We'll set in the good bearing, black piece facing up, set in this old race, set on this socket. That's the sound of solidness. I'll flip it over and let's make sure the bearing works. Yeah, bearing works. Black piece up. They're probably both the same, but just saying. Bingo! That bearing spins too. With that race on it. Ooh, that's going to be so much better. Alright, you're going to need to reinstall your tilt lever. And when you pull your tilt lever, those jaws drop. You're going to need to hook those jaws onto these two bars here when we slide it in, the same way you got it off. Alright, make sure you get this actually on the second click, so your piece is sunk in about that far. You need to get these holes to line up for these pins to go in there, which mine weren't lined up at first because I only had it on the first click of those jaws where I thought it was supposed to be, but now we know we can tap in these pins on both sides. Okay, so with some wiggling around, you can get these pins pushed in this far by hand. It's not until you reach that shoulder that it actually presses in. So just grab the handle, grab the whole unit while squeezing these in, wiggle it around and stuff, and get them popped in that far. Then they will tap in the rest of the way quite easily. Then I think we're going to do the spring, which will go right in here. I'm going to use a big Phillips so it doesn't fall in the hole here. And we're going to go in until we can turn it about 90 degrees to the right. Yep, that's all it's getting. Now the tilt column's under pressure. Another thing I almost did forget to mention, there's a spring here in this channel that sits underneath this key that we installed earlier. So it rides on that spring and pushes up against this plastic gear. The stepped ledge goes towards the outside with the gap facing over here to the driver's side, still locking it in place with those same tangs up top. But this gap is meant for this area right here. Now as far as this area goes, you're going to snap this guy into place here, just like it sits. Easy. Then you're going to slide this blinker switch down in there on the track and in that same shaped hole. Right, it's going to rest on the little lever. Then we're going to take this metal piece, feed these wires through it. Slide it down. There we go, a little wiggling. Now that captures that plastic blinker piece inside. You don't got to worry about it falling out. We just got to feed these wires in. I believe this cruise control wire is meant for this hole, and if you look straight down the hole, there's also a cutout in the plastic of the column right about here. Looks like it's meant for a wire to sit in. Alright, the cruise control cable is through that plastic slot, and it puts it above the blinker rod. See the orange clip there wiggling around? It puts it above the blinker rod all the way down and out the back, because it's going to plug in right here to this guy. It snaps onto that rusty metal piece. Now the next one, right down the bottom. Easy. Make sure you get your tilt handle unscrewed. Pull your cruise control cable and your other cable down as you feed this in. There we go. Got to pay attention to that blinker rod. The blinker rod has to go in between the metal and the plastic. There it goes. Got to kind of wiggle that rod into place. Now we got to get the 3 main screws. Okay, 3 screws are in. You got the trim ring on. This should look just like this. Snapped right into place here and there. And this slides from the back. And slides that way. Now we'll see how many times I gotta take this apart because I forgot a step. Now we'll slide on this top brace, get it pushed over. It should be a really tight fit. I got some fresh pieces here, a spring, another race but we don't need one because the bearings came with one. And then this dust cover here. See, dust cover go on first? I don't remember. Put the ignition in. That pin. And that's in. And this plastic little piece here. Now we gotta slide in the blinker assembly. Now it's back. There we go. Ooh, almost. Almost. Oh, we're in. That's it. 3 screws for that. And so this slides into the aluminum piece here, and then this half sits right there. I'll throw that screw in there. Now the blinker should work. Now the hazard button. Let's test it out here. Yeah, everything works good. I'm gonna go backwards 1 click. Yeah, that part works. Alright, now we're going to put this dust shield thing on. Those are actually supposed to get wedged on the inside of the bearing race. We'll do a spring in the horn. I think that's the right order. I forgot to slide the clip on. And tuck the clip into the groove. Once you've exposed the groove, alright, with the clip in place, I can loosen this up. That was a tight fit. I just got done baking this thing at 250 degrees. And nope, it is not going to get bigger. Maybe I need more heat. Alright, I filed on this and I sanded on the bearing as well. Just enough to basically get rid of that bevel that comes in there. And we're getting really close. We're getting right there. So I'm going to try to just tap it on the rest of the way. Not a bit of play. And look how that rolls. Let me spin the wheel. So solid. Yes! cut this nub off because it runs into the new U-joint. Now it should be clear. Alright, I'm just gonna slide this on down now. Hopefully I cut enough off. Ugh. I just gotta do that forever. Turn the wheel this much and nothing would happen. Now the response is almost immediate. It's, compared to what it was before, it is immediate. Well, that is so awesome. I am glad that bearing paid off. That was a gamble that worked out, man. That just happens to be perfect. Almost. Too bad the shaft isn't perfectly round, but we got around it. It's in, and I've never had it feel so good. Never. It's had all the original stuff that's been on it since I own it, and it doesn't even feel like the gearbox is even an issue anymore. It's amazing. I recommend any of you guys that's got one of these to go do that upgrade. The bearing, and then get rid of at least that one bottom rag joint with the U-joint. But let me know what you guys think. Please like, please subscribe, hit the bell, comment, all that good stuff. And until next time, peace.